This conference will now be recorded.
Hey everyone, good morning. I hope you're doing well. This is Jody Collada with Wellspring Solutions, and I am delighted that we have Dr. Monica Tillett with us today to talk about dementia and physical therapy. But before we get started with her presentation, I just want to share a little bit of information with you about the services that we offer older adults in Guilford County at Wellspring Solutions. Okay, so um, in the community, we offer confidential memory screenings. We offer memory fitness and dementia dialogue educational series. At our memory care center and connections memory club sites, we offer opportunities for socialization, brain and physical fitness exercising, creative expression, meals and snacks, and a much needed break for the family caregiver. We also offer caregiver education, much like what you're seeing today, on a variety of different topics. We have caregiver support groups, we have home care, and we also have our navigator, Nicole. Nicole can help to just guide you, to help you just find the services that would best meet your needs in the community. So if you have a need or just have a question, please reach out to us. You can call us at the number on the screen, 336 545 5377, or please visit us on the web www.well-springsolutions.org. And now I want to go ahead and again say how fortunate we are to have Dr. Monica Tillett with us today. Monica is a director of physical therapy and has been working for 12 years in the Triad area. She's the owner of New Direction Rehabilitation and Wellness, which is a mobile PT clinic serving seniors in their own home. And she just had so much experience helping individuals with dementia and their families at home. I thought it would be so great to partner with Monica to come on and share some of her expertise, some of the techniques that she uses to help folks at home keep moving. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Monica now. And welcome, Monica. Thanks again for being here.
Thank you, Jody. I'm super excited to talk about dementia and physical therapy. So thank you so much for asking me to be a part of this. And physical therapy and dementia, they really go hand in hand. And so to be able to spread awareness about the importance of both, I think will just be so beneficial to so many people. So you gave a little bit of background about me. I just want to just also let people know that during these 12 years of being a physical therapist, I have worked solely with the geriatric population, and I've been able to help various patients in different settings. So, in home therapy, I've done with them, rehabilitation clinics, skilled nursing facilities, and then retirement communities. And so I work with the full spectrum of conditions when it comes to our seniors. And so whether it's orthopedic, neurologic, balance and fall prevention is the number one platform that's of services that people require. I can also treat vertigo and look at home modification and coordination of care for different services for our seniors. And so I just feel that just having all of that experience in those settings has allowed me to uh, just really focus in on everything with the client and not just going and doing physical therapy and exercises. And one thing also in working with these different settings is that I've been able to work with a lot of patients with dementia. And I have found that I have to get outside of my normal box of thinking, my normal physical therapy toolkit, and get into a whole creative way of doing things for these clients. And that's what we're going to talk about today. But regardless of where I am and who I'm working with, my goal is the same, and it's to keep our seniors from falling, keep them strong, and helping them maintain their independence at home. And so, yes, that includes those patients with dementia. So oftentimes I get the question, can a person with dementia still get stronger? Can you still improve their balance and strength? And the answer is yes, that is absolutely possible. They have the potential to get stronger. It just depends on what their level of participation is, what their level of understanding is, and that's going to vary based upon the different stages that the patient may be in. So I have to say and give this disclaimer that while it is possible that they can get stronger, there have been some cases where they may have been in the very, very late stages of dementia, and the different activities that I'm trying to do with them does not work because they have completed the stages and just aren't able to understand and comprehend what's going on anymore. But you still have to try. You don't want to just assume that because they have dementia and you ask them to do something one time and they don't do it, that's it. You throw in the towel and don't try to do something with them. And so that's really the main goal of this presentation is here's some things that we can try. Let's just not assume that they can do that they can't do anything. So before I go into, any further in the presentation, Jody, just let me know if there's any questions that come up or if you see anything. All right.
I will let you know. I don't see any questions at this point. Thank you.
Okay, great. So let's talk about why movement is so important in our patients with dementia. And the primary thing is it keeps them moving. We want to keep them moving. The more they move, the more we're going to continue to build their strength through functional activities. This is going to help them decrease their risk for falls. And then that repetition of performing the activities is going to help them be able to perform them a little bit longer. So repetition learning is very important with patients with dementia. What they're doing most of the time is what's going to be embedded in the brain that's a normal activity to do. So if they're up walking, if they're up moving around, if you're trying to engage them, mentally and physically, then the brain is going to continue to recognize those activities as being normal. But if we're just allowing them to sit on the couch or in their recliner and watch TV or just lay in the bed all day, that's what's going to be embedded in the brain that this is a normal activity. And so the other things like walking and reaching and moving around, that is going to be low on the totem pole. And so we don't want that to happen. So some strengthening activities that you can do with patients with dementia, and again, it's all going to depend on their level of understanding, what stage of dementia they're in. So I like to incorporate functional strengthening activities and traditional strengthening activities and just see what works the best. So if you have a loved one who follows commands of standing up, say, hey, let's stand up, let's go take a walk down the hallway, or let's go walk to the mailbox, then you can have them sit down in varied heighted chairs. And what I mean by that is if you look around your house, you may see your couch, your recliner, your dining room table chairs, and they're all at different heights. And so you can have them get up and walk around with you, do some things, have them sit in each type of chair. And that is going to help build strength by just doing that on a more repetitive basis instead of just saying stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down. Try and incorporate an activity with that. So the higher the chair is, the easier it will be for them to stand, but the lower the chair, the harder it's going to be, and that's going to require more muscle activation to stand, and so that in turn is going to help build more strength. Walking on different types of surfaces, hardwood floors, tile, those types of surfaces are what we call level surfaces. They're very easy for the patient to maneuver over because they don't have to pick their feet up as high as they would if they were walking on unlevel surfaces, such as carpet, grass, any type of hills or inclines outside. Those are going to require them to provide a little bit more effort, a little bit more muscle activation. So that's going to help build strength. And then, as I spoke about earlier, using traditional exercises. But with our patients with dementia, I have found that modeling those exercises with them, making it a group activity, will encourage them to want to participate with you, because not many of the patients, unless they were just a fitness guru, love being in the gym, working out, they're not going to just jump to performing exercises when you say let's exercise. So one thing I like to do is just say, hey, let's try and do some things together. I'm feeling a little stiff. Do you mind doing some things with me? And you can start modeling some just seated and standing exercises to help them get engaged. And so what they can do, again, depends on their functional level. Some may not be able to stand and walk and do those things, but you can do seated exercises with them. And so I just wanted to show just a few examples by picture of different things that you can do. So kicking your leg up, getting that knee straight, doing a seated march in the chair are good seated strengthening exercises to do. You can also add in arms with it too. It doesn't just have to focus on the legs. And then some standing exercises could be holding on to a kitchen sink or a sturdy chair and having them march and move their legs to the side and behind them. And these exercises you would want to do with them, so it seems like a group activity and not this very structured exercise session. Any questions that you have about anything, Jody, or any questions in the chat before we move to balance?
No, there's no questions just yet, and I really love the team effort approach. Not only is it going to benefit the person with dementia, it benefits the caregiver. They're moving too, and they're making a little bit more fun versus a task. So I love that.
Right. And I feel better when I'm doing the exercises with my clients. It just gets the blood flowing, so it not only helps them feel better, but it'll help you feel better too. So let's talk about balance activities. So walking, hills, driveways, any type of incline, walking in the grass, that is a great balance activity. And if you remember, I also had this listed under strengthening, and walking and varying the different types of surfaces. It can work both ways. It can help with strength, it can help with balance, and it's, getting them up and moving and doing something functional. So I love doing walking activities on varied surfaces. Also, stepping on and off curbs or on and off of a step. Those are great balance activities to do as well if they're at a functional level that is safe to do that. Again, not everyone may be able to do it, but just wanting to give ideas about different activities that could contribute to improving their balance. Gazing and attention redirection when you're walking is probably one of my favorite things to do with a patient with dementia, because our balance system that helps us stand upright and stabilize is not just about our muscles being strong, but we have a system in our inner ear that is activated when we turn our head, when we turn around. And so we have to keep that system moving as well. So as I'm walking with any of my clients, I like to intentionally change their attention, have them look to the left, maybe at a picture on the wall, or if we're outside looking at a neighbor's house or something to redirect their attention. I may have them change their direction and say, hey, I forgot something back here. Can we go back and get it? And I'll also cue them to change their walking speed. So I may say, let's try and walk a little faster. Let's slow down. I'm getting a little tired. All of those things combined are going to help work on their balance. And another great thing that you can do with your loved one, or I like to do with my clients, is having them walk around different objects of their environment. So if they're at home, or if they're in a retirement community or rehab facility, there's always something to negotiate around: furniture, tables, other people, and so having them negotiate through those different things and around it will help improve their balance also. So here are just a few pictures that I could find on walking on varied surfaces. You have that concrete surface, and it even looks like it's going up a little hill, and then the grass, just the plushiness, and having to lift those legs a little bit higher to get over the grass is great. And then the bottom picture is probably my favorite because they're dancing. I can't tell you how many of my patients, they may not want to move and get up and walk, but you put on some music, you take them by the hand and you try and dance with them, they will get up and do that with you. And that is just a great activity for their balance. And another one that I have found works really well, a lot of mothers and home keepers, they kept their house clean. They all were always washing dishes. And so sometimes you can get out a broom and say, you know what, I really need some help cleaning up. Do you mind helping me sweep? And they will take that broom and they will sweep the floor. And that is just a great activity to help with their balance. So just knowing what they like, what they enjoy doing, are great things to do with them. And those are the two things that I really, really like to find out first when I'm hired to help a patient with dementia, is to learn a little bit more about them and what they do. And that's going to help spark participation in most cases. So there are a few dementia techniques that I like to use when I am working with my clients. And this is not just the first session, this is every session. Anytime I approach them, I use these techniques. And the first one is, we have to enter their world. We doing things that are meaningful to them. As I talked about, thinking of things that they enjoy doing. And so it could be, they like gardening, or, working on cars and being outside. So if those are things that they like doing, then I try, and not that we're pulling tools out and working on cars, actual cars, but if being outside is something they like, then maybe we try performing most of our activities outside. Or if they do have a garden or vegetables or flowers, bending over and trying to do things in the garden and squatting down and picking things up. All of those are great things to do. Smiling is another important thing. Right now, it's hard to see our smiles because of the mask that we're wearing every day, but normally them connecting with your eyes and your smile and you touching their hand or touching their arm, those are things that really help them feel connected to you. And if they feel connected to you, then they are more likely to participate in doing activities with you. I never go in and just say, hey, I'm Monica, your physical therapist. Let's get up and do some exercises. As that's not appealing to anyone. I sit and chat with them for a few minutes. What are you watching on TV? What have you done today? How are you feeling? Get them talking and connecting with me. And then I may pose the question, do you mind walking outside for a little bit? Don't you want to go and get some fresh air? And let them feel like it's their idea, like they have a choice in what they're doing. And that's going to help encourage them to do a little bit more than something that is militant and you're going in and just telling them what to do. And then the last thing, well, not the last thing, but another thing is modeling behavior, doing the things with them. Let them see you doing it, and then they often like to follow behind. Avoiding agitation is something that's really, really important. And depending again on the stage of dementia that they're in, and what frame of mind they're in, it can be easily, agitation can be easily provoked if you're continuing to ask them the same thing over again. If you're asking them to get up and walk or come and do an activity with you in the kitchen, they may say, no, I told you no, I'm not doing it. Don't continue to ask them, take a break, go into another room, go do something else, and then maybe come back later and reintroduce that idea to them. Or you could ask it in a different way, or ask about a different activity altogether, but you don't want to get them agitated because they will shut down and not want to do anything with you. And so in addition to, giving them that time, I also, if they agree to walk with me or do exercises with me, we do pretty frequent rest breaks as well. I don't just take them through the whole session and not sit down and not give them a chance to breathe. We'll do a little bit, sit down and chat, continue to connect. We'll get up, we'll do a little bit more and sit down and continue to connect. So I like to make it feel, again, like they're doing activities that are their idea, but still have some type of structure to it, but don't make the structure too structured, if that makes sense. Okay, redirecting their attention also is another way to avoid agitation. So if I have a client that likes to talk about politics or likes to talk about, gardening and flowers, I try and talk about those things that give them pleasure to help bring down any agitation that is there as well. So realizing that there are going to be days the patient or your loved one may not want to do anything, realizing that every day is not going to be the same, and then also realizing that because they did a certain activity this way yesterday, that they may not do that same activity the same way today. If you realize those three things, then you will keep yourself from being agitated, because every day is going to be different. They may not walk or do the same things the exact same way every day. One day may be better than the other, but just realize that those days are going to be there. And then there are also going to be days that maybe you've tried all of these suggestions and techniques that I said. You said, that woman doesn't know what she's talking about because they're not doing a thing today. that's okay. There are going to be days that they don't want to do a thing. There are days that we don't want to do a thing, and they just may need that day. And so give them that day. The key is not to let that be every day if you can help it. So continue to try and do something with them and encourage them to do something is the main key that I'm trying to give with this slide. Okay, so assistive devices, that is probably another frequent question that I get, and I wanted to go over this before we ended this presentation today. And you have a loved one who is starting to fall, or they're not getting around as well as they used to, and you say, do I need to get them a walker? Do I need to get them a cane? And will this help? And the answer is, it just depends. It depends on what stage of dementia they're in. It also is going to depend on if they've used a walker or a cane before. So if there's someone who got diagnosed with dementia and they had already been using a walker for years prior to that, then they probably won't have too hard of a time continuing to use that walker, at least until they get into the very late stages of dementia. But if it's someone who has never used an assistive device at all, then that's going to be a little bit harder at times to introduce a new device to them. But it can still happen. I have had patients that never, ever, ever used a cane or a walker, but because I repetitively, when I came, tried to get them to use the walker, help them hold on to it. The caregivers, when I leave, continue to help them use the walker and hold on to it. If everyone is doing the same thing, then that is going to help with the carryover and with that learned repetition that we were talking about earlier. So it just all depends, but try it. You just never know. And if it's, you're trying it and we're all consistent in introducing that walker or cane, but you still see maybe they're not safe with it. They're picking the walker up over their heads, or, throwing the cane to the side or walking over it, and they're tripping. Then you have to decide, okay, this is more of a safety hazard. It's not really helping them. It's almost hurting them. And so then you have to say, hey, this isn't the right device for them. So it's just so many things to look at. But I just feel that if you are having questions or you want to see if, a program with me will help your loved one with dementia, then there's my contact information. Feel free to give me a call. You can send me an email at info@newdirectionrehab.com, or even just go to my website and just see what else I have to offer, just learn more about what my values and missions are. And I just welcome you to reach out and just try. I don't want anyone to feel overwhelmed or feel like there is no hope. Let's try it out and see what we can do to help you and your loved one. And I also want to just let you know that I come to you. I'm a mobile practice. So wherever you are, you don't have to worry about getting out and going to a clinic. I bring the services to you, and you don't need to contact your physician first to get me out there. I will contact the physician and keep them informed, but I would do all that work for you. If you need help, just call me first, and then we can work out the rest from there.
This has just been so beneficial. The information, your expertise, your time, we're so appreciative. I do have just a quick question, and I guess it certainly is going to vary with all of your different clients. But when someone is walking on an uneven surface, or just, if you happen to be walking on pavement. I was wondering if a gait belt is something you advise, or does that really just depend on the person? Should you, even if they walk independently, should the caregiver maybe put their arm through theirs?
Mhm.
Just it again, it probably depends on each person. I just didn't know if that was something that was like a tip that you could share before someone might say, let's go walking in the grass and things like
Mhm.
that.
Yes, that is a great question, Jody. And I always encourage the use of a gait belt with these residents. And I do that because one, our clothes, we pull on them and they're just stretchy. And if they lose their balance while you're doing different things with them, then it's hard to catch them. And holding onto their arm, that's a second option. A lot of people don't like the gait belt, and so again, if you're trying not to agitate them, then I would hold on to their arm or their hand. I just typically try and tell them before I put the gait belt on, hey, this is my little safety belt I like to use. Do you mind if I hook it around your waist? And I let them see it before I even, just go in. You can't just go in for the kill. You have to explain things, give them a minute to process it, and then put it around them if you're having problems getting them to use the gait belt. But even if they still don't want you to use it, then the second option would be to hold on to their arm, just hooking your arm through theirs and keeping them, in a firm position, because there are going to be times that they may stumble and lose their balance. But
Hmm.
also, also want to remember that, you know, having a therapist come and do a structured program like that to get them to a point that maybe when you walk them in the grass, it's not as hard. That's what I try and get my clients to, is get them strong and to a point where when their caregivers are with them, that is not that much of a daunting task for them.
Monica, thank you so much. Your positive approach to working with individuals with dementia is, it's almost just as important as all of the techniques that you have shared. Just, everyone can just give it a try, and you don't want to give up if before even just putting an effort in. So thank you so much for your presentation and your time, and partnering with us on this important topic. And again, Dr. Monica Tillett, her information is up on the screen. If you have any questions about the services we offer at Wellspring Solutions, please contact us. Everybody stay well, and thanks again for joining us this morning. Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.